Ciso. Oh, it's fabulous! A strike to get you up off your seats.
Hello and welcome to Seagulls Social. This is the West Ham preview, and I'm joined by a West Ham fan in the name of Lawless. Lawless, how are we? How you doing?
Yeah, not bad. Glad I could jump on. He obviously caught me travelling the train system, so I'm glad I could jump on and talk about this game.
Nah, top man, really appreciate you jumping on. We actually got a few comments last episode. We had a Crystal Palace fan on, and they liked the opposition sort of like review. So we thought we'd get another fan on, and yeah, let's talk all things West Ham. First of all, West Ham, they've been a bit indifferent. You have some good results, some poor results, and obviously a lot of talk about Lopetegui as well. How's your season been going?
Yeah, it's pretty much that. Sometimes they're really good, sometimes they'll be shit. You know, that's what's going on. So this season, you know, like I was expecting to get slapped up at Bournemouth. First half we played alright. Well, got lucky in the second. It's just, we don't know what team is going to turn up. You don't know what team Lopetegui is going to put out. That's the problem. It's so unpredictable. I'm going into this game quite confident or full, of worry, because I just don't know what we're going to see on the pitch. And that has kind of been the trend throughout the season, you know. We've got, I think Alvarez missing for a suspension, but we've got Emerson back, so we should actually have a left back in left back position, which will make a difference. So, yeah, man, it's great. Obviously, but I'm scarred football over 10 hours of seeing us lose you last season. We didn't lose the ball. Brighton. Last season.
Yeah, I was going to say, Lawless, Jesus, come on, mate.
Yeah, it was last season. We didn't lose to Brighton, but before that, it was like 10 hours in a row. I was at the game where the last ever home game we beat you, because we beat at home last season. I was there when we beat you 6-0 in the Championship. And after that, we took it personally and decided, no, we're not going to lose to these guys for another 10 years. So, so that's the worry, you know. Still going to get that one done.
Yeah, that record is actually mad. Like it was mental, and then finally you broke the curse. And it was a poor result last season. You came and dominated. I remember speaking to you at the time, and yeah, it was a poor game from us. So hopefully we can turn things around. We haven't been in the great run of form at the moment. We had some really poor results. So especially Palace as well, as you know, we got a hate for Palace together, don't we, because of D. So that was horrible, but. We have to bounce back. West Ham hopefully can be that game. I'm not massively confident, but you never know. These games can always go one way or the other. But what I wanted to ask you was as well, obviously a horrible thing that happened to Antonio, that horrible accident he had. Do you feel like that's sort of rejuvenated West Ham a little bit and given them a bit of a reason to go out there and perform? Because obviously, that's a horrible thing to happen to one of your players. I know they raised shirts when they scored. Like, do you feel like that's giving you that little extra bit of morale, a bit of a booster when you needed it? I know it sounds horrible, but
I think it's probably brought a bit more togetherness in the side. People sort of players coming together and coming around a cause and realising, how serious, the situation is. And I see there's all sorts of reports about Lopetegui and the players, and to see get a score and then go over to him and give him a hug and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that was quite surprising. And I think maybe the Antonio staff has probably, as unfortunate as it is, but it is probably, helped that. And I think Antonio will probably be heartwarmed to know that, that's brought the players together as much as he wishes it didn't happen. So, I think there's probably an element to it. It puts us in an awkward situation because, we had 3 strikers. Now we've got 2, 3 strikers over the age of 30. And Taylor was starting regularly. Like, he was Lopetegui's guy. So now we have to hope Fulcrum comes good. Who hasn't been starting, he's been going from point up top. He's not a striker. So it's just an amazing starting time at West Ham, really.
Yeah, that's what I feel like at West Ham. It's like you don't know what West Ham you're going to get. One week you turn up and your attacking players are unbelievable. You've got Kudus, Bowen, Fulkrug on his days is brilliant as well. Paqueta, who I feel like he's sort of gone off the ball a little bit, but when he's on form, mate, he's one of the best players in the league. So yeah, I feel like going forward, you can really hurt us. And defensively, I wanted to ask you as well. What's Max Kilman and is it Mavropanos who starts for you now, centre back?
Yeah,
Or was it Todibo?
it was Todibo. Apparently he had a broken toe in the Bournemouth game. That was the rumour, but that was reported. But the rumour has been that he's had a massive falling out with Lopetegui, has either punched him or tried to punch him in training, and just the relationship is completely torn apart. So whatever the situation is, there's a good chance Debo won't be starting. If it's Mavropanos is good, but as we saw against Bournemouth, he is very rash. And also, Lopetegui likes to play this high line. Mavropanos has not got the legs to do it. So he'll probably play, but Lopetegui is going to need to be smart in how he utilises Mavropanos. But Kilman will definitely be starting alongside him.
And do you feel like Mavropanos could be an area? I know you obviously don't want to say this as a West Ham fan, but do you feel like it could be an area we can maybe look at to exploit that centre half position? Or where do you feel like West Ham is the weakest spot for us to exploit as a Brighton fan?
Yeah, I think this is going to be right. If you can put that pressure on, make him have to, you can win you a penalty, because he will stick a leg out. We were lucky in the game where he stepped on the player's toe in the box and the penalty wasn't given. It wasn't seen as a clear, obvious error. So, yeah, if you're getting in the box a lot, putting on pressure, maybe playing off the shoulder, getting the run of him, he hasn't got the legs. Things like that, yeah, I think we can get some joy in that regard. That's why we're going to need Mbasaka, who has got the legs to come and, support. And give him that's what sweep anything up for him. So that's what I'm hoping we can do. That's why it's so important to have Emerson back, because then we can have Wan-Bissaka back on the right. I mean,
yeah. No, and I wanted to ask you as well, as a West Ham fan, I know you don't watch Brighton week in, week out, but from what you've seen of us, what have you been impressed by, and what do you feel like are areas that you guys can exploit?
Yeah, I watched the Palace game, and I was so disappointed. I mean, I was just a few guys to look.
So was I.
I was so disappointed and so shocked at the performance. There were the chances when I did get one goal, but it seemed like he was giving up the ball quite easily, which we're capable of as well. So maybe if we can put the pressure on and press a bit, we can solve some errors in that regard. Hit you on the break, like Palace was able to do. And just the final ball seemed to be quite poor, so we'd have to rely on that. But at the end of the day, there's some quality players there. Matoma, I rate a lot. I think he's going to be a threat. There's some of them packed, and I kept putting him in my fantasy thing, and he's kind of let me down the past couple of weeks, Pedro. But on his day, he can be quality. There's some players there, man, and you can't pace them us. And I think pace is our problem. Pace has been up tonight, so that can cause us issues for sure.
Yeah, it was interesting you mentioned João Pedro, and also what you said earlier about the fact we were just giving the ball away, like simple things we just weren't doing correctly. And usually possession is our game. We're good at keeping possession, but usually out of all teams, we're the ones keeping possession. So yeah, it's interesting that you've noticed that as well as we have. And no, definitely our pace. Like if Cooper Minter can play up to his standards, he's his pace is a joke. So he can definitely hit you guys on the counter, and that could be a massive one. But he was disappointing against Palace. He usually plays on the right.
Yeah, so we going up against Emerson and Kilman. So Emerson, offensive and defensive. So we're going to need teams to give him that support. So that could be an issue. That's what I worry.
I think it'll be a great matchup, and I am really looking forward to the game as well. So finally, I know you've just jumped on the train, mate. So, what is your score prediction, and how do you see the game going?
Do you know what? It's so weird. I feel probably confident, probably the most confident I've ever felt against Brighton because of the form. And the fact that we beat the curse last season, never something against Brighton, so I'm feeling, which makes me feel uneasy. I hate feeling confident. I want to feeling doom and gloom and then surprise. But I'm think so. I think we can't play a high. If we play the high line against you, I think you can rip us apart and cause us problems. I think we'll probably ride our luck at times. You'll create a lot of chances. Fabian's get an amazing game against Bournemouth. I'm hoping we have a big performance from him. And I think we'll just, take our chances and be clinical and get 2-1 win. That's what I hope. But anything else would have surprised me if we beat us. But it's really important for us to win this game. We've got Liverpool at home next, so it's our last home game of the year, apart from Liverpool. So we've got to win.
Yeah, mate. Like you say, I feel exactly the same as you. I feel like it's a massive game for us. I feel like it's one of those games where we do. It doesn't feel must win, but I think it adds the pressure onto the manager because, mate, honestly, our fan base have lost their heads after Palace, and calling for the manager's head was just bizarre. But I feel like. Yeah, mate. Honestly, it was mental, mate. They had a meltdown. I don't know what happened. But I feel it's like a really big game. But I'm equally as confident as you. I feel like we could potentially get a win. But I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. And then, hopefully we'll go on to Brentford at home and hopefully get all 3 points there. So, finish it on a nice gloomy one for Brighton, but a positive one for you, Lawless.
Yeah, biggest plus, mate. Honestly.
Well, listen, Lawless, thank you so much for joining me, mate. Really appreciate your insight. And don't have a great time on Saturday, all right? Just have an okay time, and then hopefully we can chat after.
Yeah, sounds good, mate. Sounds good.
Top man. Have a good one.